Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about the most famous murders. I'm going to give a warning. It might be dark. It will be dark. Maybe some things that you don't want to hear. So this is your warning to either get off the channel or something. Or get off the video. I don't know. It will be dark. Yeah, so we are going to be going over 4 of these famous murders. I want to make this a series as well, like just a little series. Don't subscribe just yet. I will earn your subscription by the end of this video, and don't leave a like just yet. Watch the video till the end, and then if you actually like the video, make sure to leave a like. And it will help me know that you want to see more just like this. And comment down below if you want this to be a series. Alright, enough yapping, enough talking. Let's get right into it. Hey guys, today our shout out is Yokai Loom. I'm so sorry if I got that name wrong, that's just how I read it. But that is our shout out for today, another brand. I really love the designs that they make. So I'm looking at it. I really love the designs. I think they're amazing. And if you think they are too, you should go over to yokailoom.myshopify.com if you want to look at their shop or get something. Because I really recommend you do. It really helps them out. And if they see you have it, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, yeah. If you have time, please go over there. If you just want to browse, go ahead. They don't have much, but it's still something. I'm sure they're going to be coming out with something new, so stick around for whatever they have. They also have an Instagram, just Yokai Loom. So, yeah. The @ will be here as well. So, brand, @ go over to both, go look at what they've got and what they had, and if you actually like it, go follow them on Instagram. It'll really help them out. Anyway, let's get right back to the story. The Boy in the Box. One chilly February day in 1957, just outside of Philadelphia, a young muskrat hunter would be checking his traps. And what he would stumble upon would terrify him so bad that he wouldn't tell a soul about his discovery. He was too scared that the police would come down on him for it, and for his traps being illegal. For days, this something would stay right where it was until a more braver person would go tell the police about their discovery. This discovery was of a young boy, around 3 to 7, and it was shown that the boy had gone through terrible neglect. When the young muskrat hunter found the boy was stripped, naked, and mutilated. The next time he would be seen again was his body laying cold and rotten in the middle of the woods, alone. This young boy was small, malnourished, and unkempt. His hair showed signs that it had been cut before he was killed, and even clumps of his hair would still be seen on his body. The young boy's body had scars all on it, but the most notable spots would be on his groin, chin, and his ankles. The only small act of care he had been given the entire time was being abandoned naked in the box he had been found in, and his killer would wrap him up tightly in a blanket, leaving him to rot. And this would be the only hint of love and care he had ever received. Police would fingerprint the boy, hoping to find a match, but they wouldn't succeed. They would make hundreds and thousands of flyers to hopefully get an answer from somebody who knew about the boy in any way, but nobody would step up. Not even his parents would claim him as their own. Investigators would try everything they could, from analyzing the crime scene to the cardboard to even the blanket he had been tightly wrapped up inside of. Every clue they thought would lead them somewhere closer to finding something new about the case would also lead them to a dead end. Elizabeth Short, aka the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short, or more known as the Black Dahlia, had always wanted to become an aspiring actress who wanted to be famous more than anything else in this world. But how would she earn this? Was a way she could have never have expected it to come. A young woman with her 3-year-old daughter on January 15, 1947, would discover a woman's horribly mutilated corpse lying in the grass of a Los Angeles residential neighborhood. This corpse belonged to the 22-year-old Black Dahlia, and her body would be cut in half. Both of her parts would be found about a foot from each other, and her intestines would be found in her body still. But something was different. It was like somebody folded it up and shoved it back in her gut. They would also find ligatures on her wrists. Some skin had been removed. Her body would also be completely drained of her blood. The worst part of all of this, the killer had cut the corners of her mouth to her ears, creating a Joker-like smile on the Black Dahlia. A week later, after this horrific discovery, somebody would come up to the police claiming that they had done the killing. He claimed that he also kept souvenirs and would send them all through the mail. He would keep his promise and send them to the Examiner. Inside the mail would be Elizabeth Short's birth certificate, business cards, photographs, and her address book. The police were starting to become overrun with too many tips to filter out the truths from the lies. They would interview 12 possible Black Dahlia suspects and would listen to 60 people that claimed that they were the killer. Through these suspects and George Hodel, they would become amateur sleuths, and the police would ultimately never make an arrest. The Lizzie Borden Axe murders. I'm pretty sure you guys know this case, but we are going to be going over it anyway. The deaths of Andrew and Abby Borden are arguably two of the most famous murders in all of American history. August 4th, 1892 would start off like any other regular day for the Bordens. Andrew would make a trip downtown to deal with some business and would leave his daughter, 32-year-old Sunday school teacher Lizzie Borden, in the house with his wife Abby and the family's maid Bridget Sullivan. Andrew would return home later in the day and find that he just couldn't find his wife in the house. Lizzie would be questioned by Andrew, and her answer would be that Abby got a note from a friend and would go to the friend's house. That was not the truth, though. She'd be upstairs, dead, lying in a pool of her own blood. Lizzie would help Andrew to relax on the couch and take a nap. Lizzie would also try to convince the maid, Bridget, to leave the house, but Bridget would reject because she wasn't feeling well, so rather than just leaving the house, Bridget would go to her bedroom and fall asleep in her bed. But Bridget would not get very much sleep due to the screaming and shouts coming from Lizzie. Lizzie would be screaming that her father had just been murdered, and Bridget would make her way downstairs only to find that Andrew was nearly unrecognizable, covered in blood, and of course, dead. In a complete panic. Lizzie would remember that Abby should have been home by now, and she would ask Bridget to check for her stepmother. Bridget would run halfway upstairs before seeing her dead corpse, as well from underneath the bed. Abby would have also been hacked to death. In total, Abby would have received 19 blows from a hatchet, and Andrew would receive 11 blows. Lizzie would not be a suspect until a friend of hers would catch her burning a dress that had stains on it, whatever that means. After this discovery from her friend, Lizzie would be put on trial for the murders. The defense would provide witnesses that would rack up an alibi for Lizzie Borden. They would say that the female Sunday school teacher could never be capable of something this horrific. There would also not be enough evidence to suspect Lizzie for the murders, and Lizzie would be let off the hook and cleared of all charges. John Benet Ramsey. I'm so sorry if I say the name wrong. The day after Christmas, 1996, the Ramseys' lives will be flipped upside down after finding a ransom note for their daughter, Jean Benet, and her mother, Patsy, would call the police. At this time, Jean Benet, 6 years old, was well known for being a beauty queen. This ransom note would be 3 pages long, and the kidnapper or kidnappers would demand $118,000, and the family would get back their daughter safely. What the family would find out was that John Benet wouldn't have not been kidnapped. Rather, just hours later, John Benet's body would be found inside the Ramseys' house. After examining her body, they would find out that she had been and had also sustained a fracture to her skull. They would find that she had also been strangled with a handmade apparatus that came from one of her mother's paintbrushes. John Benet's death was ultimately ruled a homicide, but with the mistakes the police had made at the crime scene would have made it impossible to find who killed her. The Ramsey family would have been the first suspects on the list because of their conflicting stories. The fact that the ransom note had been written on paper from inside the home and John Benet's body was found in their house, but the parents were never arrested nor charged with her murder. Some people from the outside also suspect John Benet's 9-year-old brother, Burke, in Boulder, Colorado. Many other suspects have been interviewed by police, including one person named John Mark Carr, would also confess, but nothing would lead to any answers. This case still remains unsolved to this day. And that's gonna do it. Let me know what you find the most interesting, and until then, I will catch you guys in my next video.